back to the Willie Good Life. I'm Jennifer Willie, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make some pumpkin walnut muffins with cream cheese frosting. In these muffins, I'm not going to be adding walnuts. I'm going to be using pecans instead. And this is going to be sort of a two-part process. I'm going to show you how to actually make the pumpkin muffins themselves, and then I'll show you how to do the icing, the cream cheese icing, in a separate part, but the videos will be together. All in all, these are great ketogenic options for you if you want something sweet for the holiday, if you want something nostalgic, something for Thanksgiving, something for Christmas. And, you know, the carb count on this isn't too bad. I'm going to leave all the ingredients listed below in this video in the information column, and then inside there I'll also have a breakdown of the carbohydrates that are in each muffin, so you kind of have an idea what you're looking at carb-wise. But for now, what we're going to do is just mix everything together for our pumpkin muffins. So you're going to get two large bowls, actually one large one and one kind of medium-sized bowl. I like glass bowls because you can sort of see, you know, make sure all your ingredients are mixed together all right. That way you don't have any powder left behind. You can sort of see underneath there, that kind of thing. So I love glass bowls for that reason. So in one bowl, the largest bowl, you're going to mix your dry ingredients, and in the medium bowl you'll mix mostly your wet ingredients, and then we'll combine the two and then put them in muffin holders. So okay, what I've added here is 1 1/4 cup of almond flour. I also have vanilla whey protein powder, and that's 0 carbs. See if I can kind of show you what that looks like there. You can get that on Amazon. And you're going to put a 1/2 cup of this in there with your almond flour. And the almond flour I've used, you can get this at Kroger. It's Bob's Red Mill, and that's the almond flour. Okay, so I've got those two things in here. I have a tablespoon of baking powder in here. And then in this container, I've added about 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and then a teaspoon of pumpkin spice seasoning, and a 1/2 teaspoon of Redmonds Real Salt, all in this. And so you'll take those and you're going to put that into your dry ingredients bowl. Okay, so pretty much that's everything in the dry ingredients. Now we're going to go to our wet ingredients, and you're going to need 1 can of pumpkin puree. It's going to be, basically this calls for 1.5 cups. Ultimately, it's a whole can at the end of the day. Whole can of this pumpkin puree. I got that right here. Okay, so you put that in there, and then you're going to get basically 1 cup of pecans. I have 1 cup of chopped pecans right here. I'm going to sprinkle that in. No, that's not a wet ingredient, but it says to put it into the wet ingredients, so that's what I did. And you're also going to need, let's see, 1/2 cup of the Swerve Brown Sugar, and that is this right here. You can pretty much get that in any of your grocery stores, Amazon, whatever you prefer. And I'm going to dump that in there as well. Okay, and I'm going to, this calls for 1/2 cup of melted butter. I'm going to melt that and put that in there. I forgot to melt my butter, so just know, melt 1/2 cup of butter, pour that in. And then we're going to do 1/4 cup, and I like to use macadamia nut milk. It's unsweetened macadamia nut milk, and it's vanilla. So you can get plain or vanilla. I like the vanilla flavor in a lot of stuff. It's really good. It's not overpowering, but it has like a nice, smooth flavor to it. I love it for a lot of stuff, but I used to use it a lot more when I was doing more ketogenic things. But for this recipe, I recommend you use that. And that's going to be 1/4 cup of those. And then of that, you can pour that in. That's a 1/4 cup. And then you're going to have 2 large eggs in there. Boom. Okay. Okay, and then here's my 1/2 cup of melted butter, spontaneously melted. It's amazing. Okay, pour that in there. And pretty much when you're doing your butter, I use the Kerrygold block, and I would say like 1/2 of that block will melt into 1/2 a cup. So basically 1/2 and you're done. All right, so you're gonna whisk your dry ingredients together here. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Whisk some more. You'll continue to whisk. All right. And now we're going to whisk our wet ingredients together. Okay, so you're going to combine the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients, and when you mix this together, you want to fold it. You don't want to beat it or stir it too much. You just want to fold it together. I'm going to pour that in. And by the way, you want your oven to preheat it at 350. And I found these really cute muffin papers on Amazon. I'll show you. They're super cute. And I just have those ready to go in my muffin pan, and I'll show you how I have that kind of set up. But you just want to fold this over when you mix this. And so this right here is why I like glass bowls. See how you can see all that powder in there? Really helps you when you're combining your ingredients. So you can get about 15 muffins out of this total. Just depending on, I guess, on what size you want. For like an average size muffin, 15. So I've got my mixture, and I'm going to show you my cute little papers. Aren't they cute? They're like stripy and pretty and kind of fall-ish. And here's a brown one. It's really great. Doesn't take much to excite me. All right, so, and I'm going to kind of show you the size scoop. I get basically like a teaspoon, and I get a sort of heaping teaspoon, sort of like that, and then I just I start with one of those per paper, and so just fill up to 15 and then just kind of top them off. Ooh, whoops. Okay, wonderful. And because this is a little dense, I like to just tap it. All right, so here's my mixture, and it should be pretty, you follow those ingredients and instructions to a T, it'll come out perfect every time. So that's kind of the consistency there. Sort of what the finished product looks like. Now this is before, obviously, I put my icing on there, but you can see kind of how these spread out. So you're going to preheat your oven to 350, and then you're going to put these in for 25 minutes. Once again, depending on your oven, pretty much 25 minutes for me, perfect every time. Everyone's oven's a little different, so just kind of use the butter knife test where you stick it in there, make sure you don't have anything gooey on there. Just keep an eye on it the first time you do it, but pretty much 25 minutes should do it for you. I like to take these out, let them get nice and cool. I'm going to let these actually sit overnight, and I'm going to make my icing ahead of time, and then tomorrow I'll ice them so that they're cool and it doesn't make my icing runny or anything like that. And I'm going to pipe in the icing over the top, and I'm going to show you how I do all that as well. Simple recipe, it's delicious. You can adjust this recipe however you like, just like any recipe. You can make it more cream cheesy if you want more of a cream cheese flavor, or if you want just kind of a hint of cream cheese, you know, you can adjust it that way too. The proportions I'm using tonight, I think it's kind of like in the middle. It's like a nice light cream cheese flavor. I've done where I've added more cream cheese to it to kind of give it more of that cream cheese flavor, but it's totally up to you either way. Basically, you're going to have like a whole block of cream cheese, and you want it softened. You don't want it melted, you don't want it runny, just soft. Or you could even leave it out, have it room temperature, and that will work. So a whole block, and basically butter, 2 sticks of butter to 1 block of cream cheese. I'm going to have all this in the description box below this video so that you can get the ingredients and the measurements and that kind of thing. So Kerrygold, Vital Farms, whichever brand you prefer, 2 sticks of butter or 1 big block of butter per 1 block of cream cheese. And both of those need to be at room temperature, softened. So you're going to have your blender, and I just kind of start it on low. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rake my cream cheese in there and let that get started as I break my plate. I'm going to slide the butter in there. There's no graceful way to do this, folks. I'm sure there is. I'm just not doing it gracefully. Whatever. It's in there. Boom. Okay. Cream cheese and butter. And you want to basically just blend those things together for a while. Now, in the recipe it says like 5 minutes or so, or basically till it's combined and it's kind of fluffy. Before I turn this up, because it gets kind of loud, I'm just going to explain that. You're going to put those in there, those 2 ingredients, mix them until they're good and fluffy. And then I've got 2 cups of sifted Confectioners Swerve sugar. And this is, you can get this at any grocery store practically. And that's the Swerve Confection. And I sifted 2 cups of this. And once you get this to where it's nice and fluffy, then you're going to slowly add the 2 cups in as it mixes. Basically, so I want to crank this up. Cooking Keto with Faye is an awesome blog. I'm going to link the blog down in the description box. That way you can go check it out. She has some absolutely amazing recipes that are ketogenic. I would say you could say hyper carnivore, satisfying some of the carnivore folks out there too, but mostly she comes up with some amazing ketogenic versions of meals that, let's just say you're trying to transition into a, you know, low carb, high fat, ketogenic lifestyle, and you want to have some options to kind of get you over the hump with some of these, you know, meals that you may not be having anymore, like pizzas and things like that, cupcakes in this instance. She has a lot of amazing, great recipes. Every single one I've ever tried has been fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So that's where I got this recipe, and it's off her blog, and I'm going to have that linked in the description box below. And she also has a YouTube channel, and I'll link that on there too. If you want to go visit her channel as well, I encourage you to do that. But basically that's how I came up with these. I didn't come up with it on my own. Okay, so it's nice and blended here, so I'm going to take my confectioner's sugar that I've sifted, and I'm going to just slowly kind of rake it in there as it blends. Just slowly rake it in. I'm sorry my camera is not closer. I'm going to get these angles right eventually in this kitchen. It's been interesting, to say the least. Okay, we're going to mix it in, mix it in. How's that for slow? Probably should go a little slower. This is my third batch tonight, so I don't care. But go slow. It does help. That wasn't really all that slow. So after this is, so we're gonna let this go for about 5 minutes after you put the sugar in. Basically, they say just visually you want it to be smooth and fluffy and airy, and the more you mix this icing and beat it, it gets fluffier and lighter. So that's another way you can sort of vary the flavoring and the texture of the icing itself. So it also calls for 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I don't have this one pre-measured, so you'll have to watch me measure it. 1 and 2. It also calls for 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. So I'm gonna pour some lemon juice in there. 1, 2 teaspoons. A little extra because that was like a little teaspoon. Okay, cool. So that's gonna blend, 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 and blend some more. And once this is finished, I'm going to put this in my handy dandy piping bag. And I'm gonna squirt it into my cupcakes. Basically, this is what it looks like in the end. I put a little pumpkin on top to make it cute. There's the icing and my cute little papers. Aren't they cute? Anyways, I'll do a close-up of my stuff that I got over here so you can kind of see. But that is it. That's it when it comes to the icing, and it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. All right, I'm gonna add this to my bowl. This is all my icing. Boom. Isn't that graceful? How I put that in the bowl there so delicately. Okay, and I'm just gonna scrape this all in there. All right, there we have it. A pile of icing. Okay. Lick your fingers. You must lick your fingers when you're making this. I'm sorry, it's just a part of the sampling process. You got to make sure it tastes good, which it does. I have a lot of samples of this. This is definitely hard to make without eating it. So, okay, this is my piping bag. I'm sure all of y'all have, sorry, you can't see my face, but like, once again, that's totally fine. I'm just going to show you this little piping bag technique. I'm sure most people have probably done this before, but you just cup it over your hands. I got my tip on there. And I don't have a thin spatula, like a narrow one. That's the best thing. But I just kind of got like a butter knife here and just kind of get your icing in there. Boom. Kind of mash it in. You don't want to overfill your bag because then it just gets everywhere, which I've already done. So there you have it. There's that. Okay. So then there we go. Oh, okay. So grab it at the end, twist it, squirt, boom. Wonderful. All right. There's this muffin. I mean, technically it's like a cupcake, but it's kind of like a muffin too. And you just fill that little sucker in like that. Almost looks like a flower. Isn't that wonderful? A little delicious keto cupcake flour. Okay, so that's pretty much what you do there, and you take a pumpkin and you stick that little guy in there, and look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Pretty much these guys are great to eat room temperature, that kind of thing, but what I recommend is you take it and warm it in the microwave. That is where it's at, folks. I'm telling you, warm these puppies up in the microwave and eat them, and they are delicious. So let me know in the comments section below what you think about the video, of course, and let me know what you think about the cupcakes or the muffins. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Whatever. But give me some feedback. I really would appreciate it. And also thumbs up this video if you like the content, and also be sure to subscribe so that you can get more videos like this one, and I'll be sure to send plenty more your way. But until then, friends, have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time. And I'll see you next time.